Hey, I am a man with my feet on the ground, nigga. I stand. I'ma face my problems, don't help it hands. I'm just saying that I never ran. Yeah. I had the ball in spite of the pain. I was tired of the losses, I wanted the game. I want the whole world to know my name. If I make it out, know I'm bringing the game. They my brothers, yeah, they know my pain. We don't share a mind, but I love them the same. Gotta stay humble, now I stay in my lane. Never let the money fuck with my brain.
Hey, welcome to Dream Tour, the podcast where we take you on a tour of many different types of people's dreams, goals, and aspirations. Today we have our very first comedian, or we had a social media comedian, but our very first stand-up comedian. Go ahead and introduce yourself to us.
So I'm Carter Dougherty. I'm a stand-up in Akron, and Cincinnati is like mostly where I do my other stuff because of school. But yeah, I've been doing it for like a year and a half now, and I'm about to feature for the first time this year, so
that's awesome.
Pretty excited. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I've been like really excited about this podcast because I'm a huge fan of stand-up comedy as a whole. Like I love the genre of entertainment.
Same.
So this is the first stand-up comedian I've ever met in my life. So this is super cool. Yeah. So
see, you went to St. V.
Yeah.
But at Hoban, we had like 4 or 5 kids try stand-up comedy while I was in high school. So that's why I knew about it.
You knew about it?
Yeah, they all tried it at the club.
At the comedy club down in the Falls. What's the name of that comedy
Funny
club?
Stop Comedy Club. Yeah. That's the place I work mainly. That's where I got like my first paid show and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like that place. So
yeah. See, I've always liked stand-up comedy, and like I'm a creator type of person.
Yeah,
like I do get up and do stuff, yeah. But stand-up comedy, I've always loved it, but I'm more of a viewer of stand-up comedy because when I think about like writing a joke and like having a set-up punchline pause and like having all that goes into writing a joke, it seems a little much for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's why like when I first started, I would take up a piece of paper with all the jokes that I wrote, and they were all very bad, like just one-liners, because like that's all I knew how to write at the moment. And then like I just kind of
get better and better.
Yeah, plus when you're just watching other comedians every single day, eventually you learn what to do right and what's wrong.
Yeah, because like some of those like really like top-tier guys, like one of the first time I noticed that like these people weren't just getting up there and being funny. The first time I noticed how planned out it was I don't remember which Netflix special, but it was a Kevin Hart Netflix special, and the whole 1 hour like feature on stage ended up being a setup punchline. Like the whole show was a joke.
Oh, really?
Because the first joke he told was a long story, and then that long story ended up being the punchline that ended the show, and I was like, oh, so he planned the whole show. Like he planned it out like that, and I was like, that is really creative. Like that
is one thing a lot of people are always like, they think stand-up comedians go up there and talk like randomly off the top of their head.
You can't be that funny like that. There's no way.
Yeah, no, not even me. But like, but yeah, no, like a lot of, and people get annoyed if they see a comedian like do an act, and then a month later they go back and they see the same act, and it's because like they're working on the act. Like you.
Yeah. So what's it like? Yeah. What is it like? Like, when you go and you say you do an open mic night, you test out a few jokes.
Yeah.
Do you just keep a few of them and add some ones that have worked before when you're going up to like a paid set?
So yeah, it's very different. Like I just went to the Funny Stop last night and did a set, but I got a guest set and it was a sold out show. So it's not like I'm gonna go try new material when there's paying customers.
When there's stuff that works.
But if I'm going to a bar where most of the people didn't even know that there was gonna be comedy that night, I'm gonna go tell jokes that I wrote this week. And usually a lot of them don't end up being very good.
So how much time do you spend a week writing jokes? On like your not thinking like past 2 weeks because we've been in like the holiday season, but like on a regular week, do you spend?
So there's some people that sit down and write because they're smart, but I just whenever like something stupid happens, I write. Like my document I looked at the word count. It was like 60,000 words.
Dang.
But like 1 out of every 30 ideas that I write actually ends up being tried at an open mic, and then how many of those actually ends up being a real joke.
Do you have a testing phase like before an open mic? Do you just like make jokes to your friends, see if they work?
I do that a lot, especially with my best friend, and Like, I feel like I'm being annoying, but whatever.
Like, you're testing, you're doing your craft, though. Like, you can't blame you. You got to do what you got to do.
I'll always just sit there with my notes, and I'll ask if they think it's funny, so I can try it at the mic that night.
Oh, man, I tried writing one. I tried writing, like, a 10-minute, like, for an open mic, and it like, two things. Two of the jokes out of the 10 minutes of talking were funny.
So, the first thing, like, whenever... So, we just had the finals, the amateur finals at the Funny Stop. And, like, I just watched and judged. Yeah. And one of the guys kept just bringing these people up to me and saying, what advice can you give these new... I was like, first off, why are you doing this to me? But like, the thing I always said was, like, if you don't have 5 minutes, don't go up there for 5 minutes. If you only have 2 minutes of jokes, then you only have 2 minutes of jokes, so you don't have to. Yeah.
Can you, like, how... I know that some comedians, like, they'll make fun of people sitting there. Do you do that?
Oh, crowd work. So, like, that's actually something I've started to do quite a bit, just because I've been doing the Funny Stop so much that, like, I see the regulars in the crowd, and so I'm like, they've heard these jokes. They don't want these.
So you mess with them a little bit.
Yeah, and I actually did a house show.
Oh, that's...
the day after Christmas.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Was it like a party? Like, just someone had a party and they invited you to do some jokes?
Just COVID precautions were not followed, I would say. But there were like 100 people there, and they built a stage because it was a band. Okay. They always throw house shows, and they decided to do a comedy night. And one of the house members is a comedian, and he asked me to do it. But when I went, I did like 2 minutes of jokes, but I was only getting chuckles. So then I just started making fun of the other comedians because I knew what to dig in on them on.
Oh my gosh.
I don't usually do that, no. Yeah.
What, so if, like, you're looking out in the crowd, like, what would be something that, like, would make you pick someone out? Well... That's kind of a hard question.
Oh, like, always a couple. Like, that's all, because you can ask awkward questions. Like, I saw this young couple, and this is kind of just a gimme, but I asked them if they were dating, and the guy said yeah, and the girl said no. And so, when something like that happens, you just say what just happened, and everybody laughs, because that's, like, so awkward.
Yeah, you could, oh my gosh. If you're going with someone to a comedy show, like, and you're going in the crowd, and you're going to sit up front, shoot, you gotta, like, as the guy, you gotta be like, you gotta know. Yeah, you gotta know that, or your night's gonna be rough.
You gotta be confident with your answer.
Yeah, because I've seen so many guys get torn apart in the front row, and their girlfriend's just laughing at them.
Yeah, I bet I inspired a discussion between them, but...
Oh, that's probably a fun car
But they were very young couples, so I was like, clearly this guy just felt awkward and said yes, or I don't know. Yeah. But they were like, 21, so I was like...
Yeah, or around...
I was like, this is a cool game to make fun of them.
Oh, yeah. So, like, how old is the crowd typically at the Funny Stop for you?
Older.
Older?
Yeah. A lot of regulars. So, like, people...
That's what I'd assume, though. Like, because, like, I don't think that I like stand-up comedy, but when I want to go to a stand-up comedy show, like, I'm probably going to first see, like, someone that I've watched their special or something like that. So you got to, like, to get into stand-up comedy to where you're seeing local stuff, like, I think you need to age a little bit and, like, you slowly get there.
Oh, yeah, you brought up Kevin Hart earlier. Yeah. I wanted that was the first comedian I ever saw live.
Really?
Yeah, I saw
What show did you see?
Well, it was when I was in 8th grade. I went to got tickets to the queue to see him. Oh, that's
awesome.
Yeah, we were, like, in the nosebleeds, but it was still cool.
Was it one of the ones that he did a version of on Netflix?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I don't quite remember which one.
His names are so hard to remember. They all are.
Also, I kind of grew away from Kevin Hart a little bit as I've gotten more into comedy.
I loved Kevin Hart. He's a nice intro. I think he's still a very funny comedian, of course. He's a hilarious guy. But, like, who's your favorite comedian?
Probably Louis C.K., who I said earlier.
He's funny. He really is.
Comedically my favorite. Morally not my favorite person. But his show is my favorite show of all time, and I've watched it through, like, 3 times because I love it so much.
He's really funny. Like, he's one of the most funny things, I think, like, with a person in just regular life is when you can straight face say some bullcrap. Yeah. And that's his style, I think.
Well, like, I think he, like hit my favorite... He has my favorite joke of all time, which is his, like, intro to his 2017 special, which he talks about abortion.
Oh, gosh.
Where, like, he leads it off saying, like, you either think it's murdering a baby or taking a shit. And it's like... He's like, and you can only be one of those two things. And he starts off saying like it's totally taking a shit, but then he changes at the end. He's like, okay, it is murdering a baby, but here's the thing: I think you should be allowed to murder babies. And I just think that's like the funniest way like to put it into perspective. Is like there's only two.
Yeah, he's so funny. You know what my favorite? I would say my favorite joke that I've heard in this past year of stand-up comedy is Bert Kreischer. When he was talking about going to Starbucks and getting coffee. Oh my gosh.
That was in his latest special.
Yeah. Oh
remember.
my gosh, that one was hilarious. Did you you said we were talking before this and you said you liked Tom Segura too.
Oh, yeah,
Did you like Ball Hog?
Friggin' loved Ball Hog.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I listened to his podcast. Like that's like the one podcast I listened to every episode, and he talked about like a lot of the making of that, and I liked it. So that's why I listen to a lot of comedians' podcasts.
Yeah, because you can learn a little bit. That's actually like I watch Joe Rogan because I think like in my personal opinion he is the best question asker. He's one of the best question askers. Like he's the best interviewer, one of the best interviewers alive. There's him, and then I checked out an episode of David Letterman because he's a great. He asks amazing questions. Like I want to see people ask amazing questions so I can learn how to.
Yeah, freaking comics like David Letterman, because you know he started as a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's a legend, though.
Well, they just came out with that Comedy Store documentary. Have you heard about that on Showtime?
No, but I'd love to see that.
So it's a documentary about the Comedy Store Comedy Club in L.A.
That's...
And it just basically goes through the generations of comedians that have gone through there.
Mm-hmm.
But they just talked about David Letterman's start and Jay Leno.
Oh my god.
But I just always think about comedians back then. They're like these like charismatic guys.
They wore tuxedos.
You know, I wore a tuxedo for my finals.
Really?
For my
It adds character.
Yeah, for my co-feature finals. I don't know why I did it. I thought it was silly.
Mulaney does it too, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's his shtick. You know, he's the polished.
He's the polished comedian.
Polished cokehead.
Yeah, and I didn't know he was a cokehead until you told me.
Yeah, he just got checked into rehab.
Man.
Hope he does better.
Yeah. If he's a big comedian like that, I'm hoping he can get into a good place that could really help him out. Because I think he's hilarious. I'd love to see more in that.
Yeah, I mean, he talked about being clean for like 20 years, and then, or probably not that long. I don't know how old he is, but since college.
Yeah.
He always talks about being clean. But, yeah, that's pretty sad.
Yeah,
but what I was going with the charismatic guys like Jay
Mm-hmm.
Leno and David Letterman is that, like, you know, they go on to host late night shows, or, like, and do these, like, you know, things that, like that. I couldn't imagine like me doing something like that.
You couldn't. Not even like 30 years down the road, like something like when you're like you've done your specials, you've done you've sold your shows out, you've done your stand-up world. Where you couldn't see yourself doing something like that after that.
Well, usually like I guess I couldn't see most comedians in like my generation doing stuff like that. I mean, they do podcasts, but
Podcasts aren't the Letterman show.
Yeah, I feel like talking to people that I don't want to talk to wouldn't be very interesting.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, I like...
That's why you bring in cool guests, though.
Yeah. I just feel like it would always end up awkward if I was a late... Like, I couldn't imagine Louis C.K. being a late-night host.
Oh.
Like...
Yeah, that's different. I guess modern comedians, they don't really fit that style. But also, like... Then there's people like, I mean, Rogan, he does it well, but he's also probably more towards that older generation.
Well, he's also, like, known as, like, the coolest person ever. Like, everybody wants to be Joe Rogan.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Like...
His life's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Nobody... I don't know.
And I loved his special when he did the joke about the Kardashians and he got up on the stool. Oh, my gosh.
Was that the one he did mushrooms on?
I think he probably did that on both. You know who else did mushrooms on their stand-up set? It was Pete Davidson.
Well, that's Pete Davidson. You know, he got a lot of shit for his last special. Like, everybody said it was
because he was making fun of Ariana Grande a little bit. But he didn't really make fun of her.
Well, everybody liked that. They liked the stories, but they said his jokes were garbage. But I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. We got wires falling down behind me here, but, you know, as long as the computer's still charging, we're all good.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, this old computer, it needs to stay charging. It's got like you know, sometimes if you unplug it, you got like 10 minutes. Sometimes you got like 45. Sometimes you got 2. So it's a real risk.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so here, let's talk about a couple of the Dream Thor things here.
Okay, yeah.
So we've already kind of got to like know you, like know what you do, but like, what made you want to do it? What made you
Oh, yeah.
lead into comedy?
So, like, I saw those people from my high school try it out. It was all, like, the creative people, but, like, I didn't really do theater or anything like that, so I didn't really know them. But I just knew it was a thing. And then eventually I went and did it. And, I was pretty garbage at first, but...
Yeah, you get better. You're always going to start at your worst point.
But even though I was garbage, all my friends came to watch, and so the owner of the Funny Stop liked me because I
had friends.
I had friends that came to watch me, and then eventually, I got good, or I don't want to say I got, but I got better, yeah. And but now I feel like everybody thinks I'm still doing the act that I was doing when they all came to see me. Back then.
That's the thing with like friends and starting something is your friends support you right when it starts, and then they're like, all right, well, but like,
they saw me do trash.
Yeah,
and
they
now
saw
they're
you
like,
do that.
I guess he's gonna be bad forever now. But
because like even in just this is my 21st episode, even in just 20 episodes of interviewing people, every 2 or 3 episodes, it's like it's a completely new podcast because like. I learn how to talk more. I learn how to do a podcast. I watch more. I learn a little bit. I get some new stuff.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty similar to comedy. Yeah, that's actually, but then the reason I stuck with comedy is when I moved down to Cincinnati, or I live in Oxford, Ohio. I go to Miami, and they had like a stand-up comedy group. And I joined that.
That's pretty cool.
And so I did that every week, and then eventually, I would drive down to Cincinnati and do the mics, and then eventually I started doing that every day.
Yeah, Cincinnati is... I lived in Cincinnati for 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to Cincinnati.
I love Cincinnati.
I just stopped going in January
of
last year. And I lived down there, and, like, the whole city is really cultural. Like, no matter from what standpoint, like... It's super cool because it's like it's just like any big city where it's got like really old history buildings right next to big high tech buildings, and then there's also like when I was down there, there's a ton of I didn't see any stand up comedy open mics, but I saw a ton of house concerts for local musical artists and stuff.
OTR, that area.
OTR.
That's it's like a bar area. I forget what it stands for.
Like towards downtown?
It's
over the Rhine, yeah.
Over the Rhine, yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about now.
That's there's like a million mics there.
Okay.
Think of any hipster area with bars. That's where all your comedy open mic, Lakewood, up near Cleveland. There's 3 mics there, and stuff like that. Or Kent.
I bet you go to... I for some reason, I love the city of Chicago. I just think they're the most cultural city in the country.
That's my go-to after college.
Really?
Chicago.
There's slam poetry mics. They have the most interesting rap sound out of any city, and they've got a ton of comedy. It's just got a really cultural area.
Yeah. So most of my favorite comedians either come from Boston or Chicago. So.
Okay. Who's from Boston?
Bill Burr.
Bill Burr's
Louis
hilarious.
C.K.'s from there.
Is he?
Joe Rogan's
they got that
from
voice
Boston.
to it. Yeah, they do all have that sound.
Stephen Wright's from Boston, who's one of my...
I've never heard of him.
He's from the 80s. But there was a big Boston comedy scene back in the day because, just the angry East Coast sound is what everybody frickin' dug.
They're cold and angry.
Yeah. Cold, angry people.
It's really kind of true though. You ever it's just funny in Ohio during the summertime, people are nicer. People are nicer, and then wintertime it's people don't even make eye contact. They're just too cold to even think about the nod.
Plus, I mean I don't want to talk to people outside when it's cold out. So I guess
what the heck.
It's pretty natural that
people get angry in the winter.
But yeah, I think comedy's better in cold places because they're harsher.
I mean, you ever think about when you see a Netflix special, how many do you see that are in Miami? Even though Miami's a huge comedy city, not that many. I feel like I see more in Cleveland and Minnesota, in areas like that.
So a lot of people talk trash on Florida comedy and all that because
they have a ton of it, but...
I know a comedian who migrated from up here down there, and he's doing really he was one of the more successful comedians. But like, I don't know. I see him on every show, and I'm just like, if that's your top tier comedian,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just saw it was a I was watching a Joe Rogan, but he had a comedian as his guest. It was man, he's an Austin, Texas comedian. He's been on a lot recently since he's moved to Texas. He was on for
Tim Dillon.
Tim Dillon, yeah.
Yeah, Tim Dillon's insane.
I actually haven't checked out anything besides his podcast.
So, I don't know, just as wild as he is, like, he's basically if Alex Jones, like, did stand up.
Alex Jones is wild.
Yeah, but, like, also, like...
They had an episode together, Alex Jones,
yeah.
Tim Dillon, and Rogan.
So, Tim Dillon is basically, like, putting up a front as Alex Jones, but imagine a mastermind behind it controlling the wheels. So, it's just a hinged version of Alex Jones.
Yeah, Alex Jones, he's unhinged.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
He's actually crazy.
That's if he thinks it, he's spitting it. He's fun though. And he did get that crazy footage that I'm so thankful for.
The thing is,
I love conspiracy
theories. He says a million things and one of them ends up being right, but the thing is he's always so right it's weird.
It's creepy. But he got that. He was the one. You saw the video of those people like dancing around that burning owl thing in the woods in California. He was the one who filmed it.
I really like his chemicals in the water turning the frogs gay.
Yeah, turning the frogs
well,
gay.
because that's based on like a real thing.
There was a science study.
Baylor
about it,
University did a study on this pond because this company was dumping chemicals in it, and it was making all the frogs mate with same-sex frogs.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know, but I just found it funny that was a real thing.
Yeah. He did you see when he came on the Joe Rogan show? He came with a stack of papers, like a big stack of.
See, I listened to it. I didn't watch it, but I heard him talk. I got the papers. I got the scripts. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
He's got all these scientific study papers.
There's no organization.
He's literally like throwing them on the ground, just ripping out a paper. He's like, no, this is the one. And Joe Rogan reads it and he's like, dude, this has nothing what you're talking about. This has nothing to do with what you were talking about.
Like I feel like they scrambled his brain. I wish he was more coherent so we could know more about the world.
Yeah, because he knows everything, but he can't get it out. That's what I like. The vibe I get from him is he knows so much about the secrets, but he can't explain it to us in a way that we understand him.
I agree to a point.
He's also crazy.
I also think he makes a lot of shit up in his head.
Oh yeah, when you've seen all the crazy stuff happen, like the stuff that he has exposed, and he has proven, that might drive you crazy.
When you have a following and you have to keep producing content for that following, you're gonna end up just going off anything.
And it also depends on how you set up your platform. Because, if you're setting up your platform on exposing people, you're gonna become the news.
You're gonna make up
as much as you want to expose the news. That's becoming the neuse because that's what the news is. They expose people and they're trying to make a story. They're not trying to do anything besides make a story.
Yeah.
So
why else would people watch it?
Exactly.
I don't care about facts. I want a story.
Exactly. So. I guess at some point, there's a turning point when you kind of just start to lose it if you're that guy.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
That's why I never want to be be that type of thing. I just want to ask people what's going on with them. That's what I like to do.
Oh, yeah. See, in this area, there are not many comedians that do political humor at all.
Ohio's one of the most politically diverse places in the country because we're 50-50.
Yeah. So, but if you were to go to the Funny Stop, usually you're gonna get a pretty red crowd.
Okay. Yeah.
But if you're gonna go up in Lakewood, you're gonna have a whole bunch of hipsters. So
it makes sense though.
Yeah, and it's just different. That's why I don't do any political jokes at all.
None at all. I feel like there's light political jokes that it's
I do a joke about voting.
Yeah, there's you can make fun of the whole system, but once you pick a side, that's your fans for life.
Yeah, I just talk about how when I went, I didn't know that I had to pick other people besides the president, and I didn't know who any of them were. Yeah,
and you're just like, this guy's name is cool.
Yeah, I literally go, I voted the same way my grandma voted, just whoever sounds Irish.
That is amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. So, what do you, I know you're performing a lot. You're always on stage.
Yeah.
What is your next big goal?
Next big goal? Well, I mean...
Or just next goal?
It kind of isn't, official, but I won the co-feature contest, and I'm co-featuring at the end of the month, which means how a comedy show would work is your host / MC gets 15 minutes, 10 to 15. Your feature gets 25, and then your headliner gets 45 to an hour. And I'm on the cusp of reaching feature at Funny Stop, and I'm hoping to like carry that to other clubs.
Yeah, once you have feature experience and you have especially if you're at the Funny Stop, the place that knows you, and you really get a feature. Is it a set? Is it a bit?
Yeah,
is it a bit?
Feature set.
Feature set. Yeah, once you get a feature set together that you know works, you could take that somewhere.
Yeah, I don't have enough time to feature at the moment. I don't have enough minutes of jokes.
Yeah, you'll get there though.
Yeah.
I think just with practice, if you're really, I think like I really believe in like dedication and like just getting up and doing it eventually, like, and like there's like you can't just work hard. You have to have some talent, but also I think it like the work hard is like I feel like it's 90%, man. To me, like, in my opinion, I think working hard is 90% of whatever you do.
I agree with that, except with comedians, a lot of them are mentally insane.
Oh, yeah.
And so I see them do the same jokes that they've been doing for 9 years every night. And I'm like, you work hard, you know, you come to a mic every single night, but
yeah. I as long as, like, maybe they never make it big, but at least they're working hard at something they like. At least they're doing something they like instead
they always
of
end up
going
hosting at the Funny Stop. I mean, it's not like they're
having a bad life, yeah. Like, I'd rather work hard at something I like to do than not work hard at something I don't like to do.
That's a very good way of looking at it. But I don't know. I also do the club down in Cincinnati. They had college night, so that's a place that gets like younger crowds.
I bet you it's like a whole different type of joke you're telling there.
Yeah, well, like I run shows on Miami's campus, and I do much better when I'm performing in front of a college crowd than when I do at the Funny Stop, like where, like I do well at the Funny Stop, especially when there's.
How do you measure just the sound of the laughs?
Yeah, just you can feel it when you're on stage. I guess it also is pretty deceptive because like when I'm performing at a theater, I have to wait 3 seconds for them to laugh because like it just takes so long to like get,
for like the sound to get back there.
Like it's not even that it takes long for the sound. It's just the fact that you're on a little stage, like you're on a big stage, you're a little person in front of like a crowd of like 300. You know, when you're doing a joke, like it's not the same thing as like when I'm telling them right at you at a comedy club where you're right at my feet.
Yeah. What's so when you're like, I guess I gotta find a way to word this, but what is it like to like get up in front of those people? How hard was it to practice that? Because I feel like most people have a fear of being in front of a crowd like that.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I have a harder time talking like one-on-one to people than when I would on stage, just because when I go on stage, I already know what I'm gonna say.
Mm.
I've prepared material, and also like I get nervous sometimes, but only when like the stakes are high. And sometimes it's random that I'll get nervous. Sometimes
but nervous isn't bad. It just means like it's important.
But that's what like when I'm building my set, I try to structure, like I try to make sure I have an opening joke that like
you got to bring them in.
Yeah,
right?
like I have a joke that like if I were to put it anywhere else in my set, it wouldn't be funny, but I always use it to open because it's just so stupid. And then people laugh, and I'm like, okay, now I can do all my other jokes.
Okay.
But
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so like, it's nerve-wracking, and then also eventually you just get used to it.
Have you ever went up there, told your opening joke, and just silence?
Yeah.
I hear everyone's like when you hear comedians on any of the podcasts, like no matter what you're watching, every comedian has a story of just they knew from the first part of the show. They're like, oh crap.
So this was actually 2 weeks ago.
Oh gosh.
What's funny is I had so much fun doing this set.
No way. I would have been killed, dude. I would have been like hurt.
I didn't care that I bombed because I had so much fun. I went up on amateur night at Funny Stop just because I usually go just to hang out, and there's nothing else going on Wednesdays anymore. So I just go there to hang out, but there were only like 9 comedians, so I went up. But this one comedian had brought like a crowd of 30, and it was an all-black crowd.
Mm.
And I did my voting joke, where I said I only vote for people that sound Irish. And this lady goes, "Oh, so you only vote for white people?" And my response was, Shaquille's last name is literally O'Neal. And all the comedians laughed. But then they hated me for the rest of my set, and I didn't get any laughs for the rest of my set.
That's so funny, though. Like, that's hilarious.
I thought it was funny. But it was...
O'Neal's an Irish, like, one of the most Irish last names.
Because I started the joke out with saying I voted for the first time, and then, I say, I bet there's no... we all voted for the same one, and there's no political disagreements, right?
Yeah.
That usually gets a lot of laughs, but they didn't enjoy that.
They all looked around at each other like, who do I have to...
Yeah.
Who do I have a problem with here?
And they go, as long as that was Biden... And I was like, I guarantee I voted for whoever you voted for. And they were like, that sounds good, but I don't know what that means. And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, it's so annoying that people, really care about that.
I
get it affects your life.
I get caring about it, but it's not like I said anything about it.
I get caring about it, but I don't get caring about another person's opinion on it. I don't get caring about other people's opinions. I used to, but anymore, it just doesn't add up to me why I would do that.
Yeah, but I mean, I was bombing, but I felt like what the crowd was saying to me was hilarious, so I enjoyed it.
That's material right
well,
there.
It's just in my
that's free material.
I like telling people about that story.
Yeah, who knows, dude? 2 years down the road, you might write a 25-minute bit about it.
Maybe, and it would be killer.
Yeah.
But
oh my gosh. So when's the next time you're going up? This podcast is going to come out tomorrow, Monday, Monday the 4th. So when's the next time that people can check you out?
So I'm actually moving back down to school on next Sunday.
Next Sunday. I figured school starts the 14th or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm going to be back up because I have my co-feature weekend at the Funny Stop the 29th and 30th.
Of January?
Yep.
All right.
So I'm definitely going to be doing that.
So you'll be up both nights?
Yep.
29th and 30th?
Doing 15 minutes.
Okay, I'll probably put that right along the bottom here, so that's the whole time you can just look at that. Hey, 29th and 30th, because I'll probably come because I'm now really interested in checking this out, cool. And I also want to check out you, and I want to check out the Funny Stop, the whole.
Yeah,
do you
it's
the vibe there.
So it's an independent club. It's not a Funny Bone. It's not one of these chain things.
I didn't even know there was chains.
Oh yeah, so there's Funny Bone comedy clubs. There's a Funny Bone in every big city.
I did not know that.
So yeah, there's one in Columbus, one in Dayton, one in Cincinnati. There's a Funny Bone in every city. And then Helium is another one. There's a Helium in Philly. There's one in Indianapolis. Yeah, and so those ones are usually nicer. Yeah,
they're established.
They're corporate. Think of how all.
Do they have the same comedians run tours on through them?
Yes, that's why if you get into the Funny Bone, that's one of your biggest, because now you get to perform all over the country. Yeah. But the Funny Stop is it used to be called Hilarities back in the day.
I've heard of Hilarities.
So yeah,
I think my parents went back there. They told me stories about it.
So Hilarities used to be in Cuyahoga Falls, and it was the club, it was a top 10 club in the country.
Wow.
And it started the careers of Steve Harvey and T.J. Miller. Those.
T.J. Miller's in Deadpool, isn't that right?
Yeah.
That dude's hilarious.
Yeah. So, the owner of Funny Stop, Pete, he's the first person to give Steve Harvey stage time. He was the first person to headline T.J. Miller.
Oh my gosh! Wait, is that Bearcat?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I played football with this kid, and they always said he had a comedy store, and I was like, oh, really? That's cool. I didn't know that was around here.
He's a historical figure, most famous comedian. If you just look at the wall, there's going to be 20 people you've never heard of, but then there's going to be one person you're like, oh, they headlined here?
That's
and
crazy.
It was because it's an independent club, so it's the place that gives newer comedians chances.
Yeah.
And, you're not going to get Tom Segura is never going to come through, but you're getting
But you could get
people.
Tom Segura when he was a new guy, though.
Yeah, you're paying a quarter of the price that you would. But it used to be called Hilarities back in the day. That burned down, and now there's a Hilarities up in Cleveland. With the old co-owner. They used to co-own it with Pete.
Oh, okay.
But now Pete owns the Funny Stop, and where Hilarities used to be.
And The Funny Stop, so that's up there in the Falls, and like the Falls is a really like almost booming. It's like booming, and it's like
Yeah,
they built that whole new strip.
Yeah, that new area is so nice.
Yeah, so I think the Falls is becoming kind of like almost like a more, I don't know if I want to say hipster, but more like hip area, more a new wave area.
I will say the Funny Stop is a little bit far from that area in Cuyahoga Falls.
Yeah, but still the like just the city of the Falls is like kind of, is it a city? I don't know. If it's a city,
I've always loved
the
the Broad Boulevard, like that area by the exit. I used to go ice skating there when I was a kid.
They've got a ton of cool stuff coming. Like it's a really developing area.
But I mean, I love hanging out at the Funny Stop though. I'm there most days.
So you just go there to hang out too.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a thing that a lot of comedians talk about. Like those comedy store guys out in California, they all talk about hanging out at the store, like even when they're not up.
All my friends are comedians, so I just go to hang out with my friends, and then, like, you know, he'll say, "Do you want to do 5 minutes?" and I'll just go up.
That's cool.
And you know, like, yeah, I got up last night. I wasn't booked. I just went to hang out because I had nothing else to do.
That's so cool. That just gets me excited. Like, I really want to go now and just check it out up there. I might just. Yeah. How much is it to just like ticket for the night?
So it's so different because, you know, different headliners will ask for different amounts of money because they have different draws. Like for my co-feature contest, it was only $6 tickets, but you know, like when I hosted the day after Christmas, it was like $17 tickets, but. Like
what about like what did you say? There's amateur night.
Yeah,
What's
amateur.
That?
Probably like $5.
$5
to go see, and like you can call on that Wednesday and get up. Like
really?
It's awesome.
That's pretty cool. I went to my first open mic show ever just a couple weeks ago. It was $10 and it was all genres. There was a stand-up comedian.
Really?
I was so mad because I got there. The guy I was going to see went on at 8, so I got there at like 7:30, and it started at I think 7 or something, or 6 maybe. It was like a 3-hour thing, but there was poets, there was rappers, there was singers, there was musicians, and there was a stand-up comedian that I just missed, and I was so mad.
Any chance you know his name?
I didn't even see him. They just said, because when I walked in, I was like, someone came up to me and they were like, "Oh, are you the next comedian?" And I was like, "What?"
Where was this at?
It was off on Arlington Road in this little hidden building just off Arlington Road. I really wish I knew what it was called. I have the advertisement on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'll look at it and tell you this after we're done here.
Yeah, but like. See, I probably know that comedian. Yeah. I feel like I know.
Especially if they're in Akron, yeah. I think it's cool to like that. Like comedians really have like a tight knit community in general, like on every level.
Yeah, like especially like at this level, there's a lot of cliques though. That's like one of the big things.
Yeah.
But that happens anywhere.
Yeah, it's just life. Did you see Bert Kreischer, The Cabin? Did you watch that?
I didn't watch it, but I saw like Donnell Rawlings was on, and I love him.
My gosh, I watched that like twice through just because like it's super, it's very like casual watching.
Yeah.
Because it's just Bert Kreischer inviting 2 random other people and doing dumb crap, and so I watched that a couple times through, and I just thought like it's super funny to see comedians just like hanging out.
Yeah, like that house show I did, all the comedians, we hung out in the green room upstairs.
That's cool.
And then like afterwards, you know, because...
You just go out and do a party with everyone?
Yeah, we went out and partied, and then like afterwards we went back to a comedian's house for a while, and then I went home. Like...
That's cool. That's super cool.
Yeah, usually all I do is hang out with comedians, like...
Dude, that must be funny conversations going down. I mean, obviously, like, there's regular conversation, but when someone leaves a joke in the air, is it just like a race?
Well, kinda, but usually, like, I don't know. I feel like we're not trying to make jokes, except for trying to bust each other's balls. Like, that's... Yeah. Like, usually we just go, like, be mean. That's...
You're in the comedy game, I guess.
Like one of the things that I did, one of the comedians was making a joke because I was wearing my Miami University hoodie at the party, and and then I went on stage, and since they weren't like I did crowd work, and I yelled at him. I was like, the only reason you were making fun of my hoodie is because you dropped out of college after 2 years and now you want to kill yourself. And that...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so, like, I say stuff like that to comedians.
And yeah, and there's that probably
they
got a huge
stuff like
laugh
that
from the
to
crowd.
me, yeah. And, like, he started talking about how many, birthday cards he's gotten from his dad and stuff like that. So.
Oh my gosh, that's super funny. So I've got a question for you here. What like motivates you to keep doing it? Like, because I know there's got to be like everyone has times when they're like, oh, it seems like a lot of work to do this today. What would you say is like your driving factor?
Usually that I don't have anything better to do.
Really? So it comes from within. You're internally motivated?
Kind of. Like, last night I almost, like, I was like, I don't really have time to go to the Funny Stop tonight. But it's just, like, such an impulse to, like, I'm like, well, what else?
Do I?
Yeah, like, I have to. Like, I don't know. I feel like I have to do comedy every day. And, I don't even write every day. Like, but I always feel like at the end of the day, I have to close my day out with a show, or else I feel like I'm just wasting it.
Yeah, I'll just be like I do like kind of a similar thing. Like, not all the time, but sometimes like I'll just like be watching a show and like not doing anything towards my podcast. But then like the show ends, and then like this happened last week with my brother. We were watching a show together, and then he was like, let's not watch another one. I got something to do, and I was like, all right, well. Okay, I guess I'm going to go watch a video and cut out clips to put on Instagram because I just didn't have anything else going on. Might as well do something.
All right, don't get me wrong. I'm a piece of shit the entire day until I go do shows.
But
it's also like I haven't talked to anybody today. So how about I have some social interaction with people?
Yeah, that's true.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah, that's something that's like I never even thought about till you just said that. But like when I was in high school, I played a lot of video games, so I was talking to people all night. I was talking to my friends on the headset. I sold my Xbox when I started doing this, and was just like, I'm focusing. I'm not playing games. I'm not wasting time. So I guess, but when my brother was at college, and it was just me here all day, or just like either I'm working or I'm here doing the podcast, there was not a lot of interaction going down.
Yeah, like I did this semester all remote, so I was just living at home, and I just was, being dirty until like 6 o'clock. Like, I just would sit around. I wouldn't shower until like later in the day because I'm like, I'm not even gonna see anybody.
Yeah, but like also like, see, that's the thing though. I like to shower. If I can't get anything done until I shower. I swear, if I don't shower, like before I start working on my computer, like it's like some type of vibe. There's some type of vibe about it.
What's sad is that I'm the same way. Just the thing is, I'm not leaving my room until 3 p.m. So it's like, I woke up.
Yeah.
Like I woke up at 11, and I'm like, I just look at my phone and play video games, and I'm just being a piece of garbage. I play Overwatch on my PC.
Overwatch?
Yeah.
On my PC, PC Master Race.
Yeah, just cause when I was in high school, like we got an esports team.
Oh really?
Yeah, at Hoban, and I was just like.
Are you good then?
I was pretty good, and then I stopped playing. I joined the National Guard, and so I was gone for like 6 months.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, I guess. Pays for school.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's actually really cool. So wait, do you have to go do that once every other month for a weekend or whatever?
So once a month, but as you can tell by my long hair, I have been off since I was supposed to go in October, but I had COVID, so I didn't. Oh. So I've been off since August, and I don't have to go back till February.
Oh, wow. How long do you have to do that for?
I signed a 6-year contract.
And it's just once a month?
Once a month, and then 2 weeks in the summer. But you get some months off because they
it's like personal training, paid personal training.
For 1 weekend a month.
Hey, that's more than I'm doing right now, so.
More than I have in the past few months. But yeah.
That's one thing I want to get into this year is at least working out twice a week or something, 3 times a week, something simple.
I always say that.
In high school I played football, and you played football too, didn't you? So I was really accustomed to just working out every single day, because that's what you did, year round, every day. It doesn't matter what day of the week, you're doing a workout. So I was so used to that, and it was so habit that like right after high school, probably that whole summer, I just stayed doing it because all my friends, that's what we did. That whole summer I just worked out, but as soon as I went to college, I don't think, but like maybe 3 or 4 times I've just randomly went to the weight room and like threw up some weights with my friends, but like I haven't really had the motivation to even desire to work out until this year.
Yeah, I mean, like I worked out for a few weeks over the summer because my buddy built a gym in his garage and we were working out there, but then he stopped because his grandma lives next door and he doesn't want to give her COVID.
No.
But even though I'm immune now,
yeah,
according to science.
According to science, the science. Oh, you know what? I did one of those push-up challenges that everyone did at the beginning of COVID for like a couple days.
But yeah, when I was at basic training, like I was waking up at 4 a.m. every day. And
that's when I go to bed.
It's same now. Like I don't get how I did that. I was so good for a while, and now I'm just a piece of garbage. It
just goes in phases. I think I like to talk about a lot of positivity and motivation stuff on here. For sure.
Yeah, I feel like I'm killing that vibe.
No, I think everyone falls off the horse, and I'm a realistic person. I'm not the type, I like to preach positivity and work hard. Like that's what I like to preach, because when I'm preaching that, it makes me want to do it. That's my personal way of finding it. But I think that when it comes down to it, just hopping back on the horse is way more impressive than never falling off. In my mind, people who are I worked out for 3 months, but then I stopped for 2 months, and then I worked out for 3 months. I'm like, hey, at least you're getting back to it. There's people who don't do it for 20 years, you know?
And, I think it's just that I've, maybe my mindset is off just because I've dedicated, because just I think about comedy.
You think about the world as kind of comedy.
Well, I wake up and I'm just, I'm like, all right, I got a show tonight, I'm like, I should think of some jokes,
What's funny around here?
Yeah, I guess that clock that I look at every day is funny. But
oh my gosh.
I don't think about I should probably work out today. I just think I have a show later.
Yeah. Unless you see someone working out on TV, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna work out.
Or my buddies text me, hey, do you want to work out? I'm like, I got a show tonight. They're like, it's 12. I'm like,
I got a show at 8. I can't make it.
I don't want to be too buff for my show.
I don't want to be. Oh my gosh. I don't want to, get up there and just not be able to hold up the mic.
Yeah.
What if the mic's too far from my mouth? My biceps are sore.
We were working out for a little bit, and I would pick up the mic, and my hand was shaking. I was like, I'm not nervous. I just did biceps.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. All right, I got a question for you from my notebook here.
Okay.
Superpower. What would you have?
Oh, shnikes.
This is my fun question. I like this question just because I'm a superhero fan.
Probably super healing.
Some Deadpool. So you'd be Deadpool or Wolverine type deal.
Well, just because I don't really want to have to pay for health insurance.
Okay,
yeah.
But what about are you saying superheroing to the extent
Wolverines or Deadpools? Yeah.
But oh my gosh, dude, don't they technically live for hundreds and hundreds of years?
Well, yeah, I don't want to die.
Oh my gosh, dude, I think I do. At 80?
No.
At 80? I don't think I want to be. I guess you wouldn't get old.
You don't age.
Oh, you don't age.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I don't know, but also, I don't want to watch my friends just. I guess you make new friends.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But you're just watching your 80-year-old friends die, and you're hanging out with your 30-year-old friends. That's wrong. I just couldn't.
But then it's
they never show that in the movies.
If you're 3,000 and your girlfriend's 20, is that weird?
I think so. But you probably look 20.
Yeah, but so. Is it okay?
You look 25. I feel like 25 is the age that I'd want to keep. I don't know what I'm gonna look like at 25 because it's 4.5 years from now.
I know I'm gonna look worse when I'm 25, so whatever I look like now is probably my peak.
You think you're gonna look worse at 25?
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna get in any better shape. I'm
I'm
gonna lose more hair. I'm gonna.
25 is I don't know why, but in my mind I assume that's gonna be my best year.
Probably.
I don't know why.
I hope it's my best year. I just know it's not gonna be physically.
Not physically. I mean, yeah, teach their own.
Yeah, I treat my body differently.
Yeah, I mean, I don't treat my body great. My diet primarily consists of freezer chicken nuggets.
Oh,
but
my mom invests we got an air fryer for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I was like, it cooks chicken nuggets how fast? Like
8 minutes. Like 8 minutes, and you have crispy nuggets.
Like I don't have to deal with any like dumping grease in it. Like this is.
And like the microwave nuggets, you know,
No,
they're squishy.
they're mushy.
No, it's crispy nugs.
I don't know how they do that shit. It's
Man,
insane.
like, what are they doing to the air that makes it fry stuff?
So
Please explain.
that's a trope that a lot of is ranting on air fryers because they're like they're not frying it. I'm like it still tastes delicious. I don't know.
I just don't understand like what are they doing to the air that's different than my microwave? That's so much better.
I think it's just like have you ever cooked like chicken nuggets in like a toaster oven?
Yeah, my air fryer is a toaster oven. It does both.
Oh, okay.
It's a toaster oven and air fryer.
I was
There's
gonna
two
say
settings.
I feel like a toaster oven is just like a mix, or I feel like a air fryer is just a mix between a toaster oven and a microwave. It's just doing the best of both.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my gosh, just having the air fryer, I have come up with the most random bullcrap to put on tortillas.
I think what is the superpower you would choose, by the way?
Superpower? I'd probably want to be the Flash because like I just like the idea of like, you know, just like I could like go to Chicago, get a fresh deep dish, and be back here in like 5 minutes.
That
is
true. But is that really the extent you're taking that power?
Yes, that is the sole because I like
lot.
I'm a big doer of things. Like one of my big goals in my life is I want to get a bus, big vehicle that I can like renovate the inside and travel. I want to travel the country while I'm young.
I used to watch a million of those like van conversion YouTube videos and stuff.
I'm hoping that by the end of this year I can save enough money to do it at the end of the year, make a whole YouTube series about it and everything. But you know that's a year from now, so I like to talk about now because that's a goal though. That's a big goal of mine. So like that's why I think the Flash resonates with me because he can go anywhere and like I like the idea of that I can go anywhere.
That's a way more thoughtful answer than I gave.
That's kind of my personality though. That's the kind of the type of person I am.
Yeah, I don't usually think about things
I
before
like to go
say
places. See, I don't really either though. That's when you were talking earlier about how you like to go up on stage and know what you're saying, like you like that.
Yeah.
And you'd rather not. Like I'm the opposite. The only time I can be funny, like the only time that I find myself really funny is when it's just the most random moment and I have no idea what's gonna come out my mouth and just something comes out my mouth that's hilarious. Like I'm at my best when I have zero plan.
So that's how like I've always, one of the people that like helps me write a lot is my stepdad, and I've always thought like he should do stand up, but he's always just like nah, I'm only situationally funny. Like yeah, and so I feel like a lot of people are that way. That like they're hilarious, but you know they're not gonna write a set up punchline. They're just gonna just gonna say something that's like not normally socially like normal, and it's hilarious.
Exactly.
Like,
oh my gosh, I love saying random crap. It just entertains me.
Yeah, well, like one of my favorite ongoing jokes with my stepdad is one time we said we were gonna go to a Springfield basketball game, and he goes, "Oh, you're gonna walk out like this." I was like, what does that even mean? He's like, one on each finger. And I was like, holy. I don't think you're allowed to say that.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, that's how I found your mom. I was like, you're my stepdad. You're not my dad. Like, you can't.
You can't do that. Wait.
My mom graduated from Springfield.
Oh my gosh. Oh, so one of my favorite joke I've told this year is, so I work at Starbucks. I'm in the drive-thru. I'm on the headset. This person pulls up. They're like, "Can I have a second?" I go, "No, we sell coffee." I don't have any time.
I hate those jokes so much that I love them. Like that's
exactly. I was like, "No, we sell coffee. I don't have any time." And that was like, just like, all right. I was like, I guess I'm gonna say this to this person. I guess I'm gonna ruin their day.
Like,
and they sat there like.
See, people always would like, they're like, do you try jokes? Like, whenever I used to deliver pizza, so they'd be like, do you try jokes when you deliver pizza? I'm like, no, I don't even talk to the people. Like, I'm such a socially awkward person.
Yeah, I'm a big talker. I'm gonna say some random bullcrap to anyone, especially if I know I'm not gonna see them again. I will really like. I'll say something stupid because I know that I'm never gonna see that person again.
Well, one time I delivered a pizza to, like, somebody who lived on the lake right over here. You know
Mhm.
those freaking nice houses.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you have a beautiful house. And then they, like, just looked at me like I was a weirdo and I was going to rob them or something. So that's why I don't talk to people.
You should have said I can't wait to rob it later. Like you take that opportunity and ruin their night.
I don't have the balls to do what most of these guys do.
Yeah. You know what? I think it's interesting how comedians, they just tell, like, stories that, like, you've probably experienced, like, in Ball Hog. When he tells the story about the super awkward guy in the bank lobby. Like,
yeah.
Everyone has had an experience with someone that's been this weird conversation like that. But the way he tells it,
I'm
it's
usually
funny.
the guy in the bank lobby.
You're the guy in the bank lobby? So wait, if I ask you how are you doing, you're going to not say good or great? You're going to give me a real answer?
Like, I'm going to usually take the, like, just miss most social cues and say the wrong thing.
Yeah. I can be like that sometimes too. It depends like what type of mentality I'm in.
Like, I know this is a really positive podcast.
It's okay.
But
It's freeform.
I spent my New Year's Eve with my best friend's grandma in her car. I watched midnight hit while we were in the car together outside of an animal hospital because I was watching my best friend's dog all week. It's 13 or it was 11 and diabetic.
Oh my gosh.
And it wasn't eating one day. And so I had to take him to the hospital because he hadn't eaten all day. I had to give him insulin somehow. And they were just like, yeah, he's not looking great. I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, we're going to have to put him down. And so, like, I spent with their grandma, like...
Putting down a dog on the
news. I mean, she told me that her dad invented this game called Donkey Baseball, which is just baseball while people ride donkeys. And I looked it up. It's a real thing. Like, they have, like...
Are you messing with me right now?
They have, like, leagues.
Where?
I don't know.
I want to play.
I don't know. Like, I looked it up. There was, like, a Charlie Chaplin film on it in 1935. Like, this is it was a popular American thing.
Okay, my question is, though, like... Do you have to have good donkeys? Like,
horses? That's what I was, like, saying.
Is it like horses? Do you need the best of the best donkeys for this game?
Well, because, like, I was watching this dog, and, like, when it would go outside, I would say its name, and he wouldn't even respond. I was like, how do you get a donkey to go to first base? Like...
Good point.
I don't know.
I
watch videos, horses, and I watch people play, but I'm like, this is fake. No way they're doing
like
this.
Horses, though, like, you can steer those, right? Isn't a donkey, like, pretty much like a funky-looking horse?
But how much can you actually steer like...
You can. I've been horseback riding. I went to California and went horseback riding. Never been on a horse before. No idea what I'm doing, and I just go this way. Actually, you know what? My horse might have been following the lead guy's horse.
That's
now that I think about it, that guy's horse.
It's like the ride at Cedar Point where you think you're controlling the car, but really it's just going on a track. You're like, I'm amazing at driving.
Oh my gosh. Or it's like, yeah, like, you know, in Mario Kart when, like, you think you're still playing but the race is over.
Yeah. I didn't know I could hit these curves like that.
I didn't know how to drift. Oh my gosh. This is hilarious. This has been the funniest podcast I've definitely had.
Glad I have that.
Yeah, I mean, you are a very funny guy, and
thanks.
So like you have a podcast, don't you? Or you're starting one?
Yeah, I'm starting one. I'm actually recording the first episode this week. It's gonna be all like jokes because long form for me is hard when like. Well, this is a very, like, there's a point to it.
Yeah.
Most comedians, when they have podcasts, there's not a point to it. And so they're just like, so what do you want to talk about? And I'm like, I don't know. You brought me here.
Yeah, see, that's kind of a thing for me, though. Like, when I'm bringing people in, like, I don't necessarily have something for you to talk about. I have a topic that works if you're doing something.
Yeah, like, you have...
If you're up to something, we can talk. If you don't have stuff going on,
you're inviting people that have something to say.
Mm-hmm.
When comedians ask me to do their podcast, it's usually just like, so what do you like about comedy? And I don't know, like, you ask me like who's my favorite comedian and stuff, like actual questions,
like a regular conversation, like you're talking to someone in real life.
But yeah, believe me, I don't have those skills. I would sit there if I had to host a podcast, and I would just be like, "So what'd you do today?" Like,
I had a coffee and
Yeah, like
peanut butter and jelly.
that sounds like a sick day, dude. But when I'm gonna do this podcast, it's just gonna we're gonna sit there for an hour and we're just gonna pitch bits to each other, and they're just gonna be either obscenely they're just not gonna be stage bits, and it's just, or we're gonna do not like practical jokes, but one idea I had was like I was gonna write a letter to a comedian and put it in a card, and it was gonna say it was from their mom, and they were gonna open it and it just says you should quit comedy, and I thought I want to do that on my podcast.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. That's funny. Like, dude, and especially like once you put one out. So are you planning on like bulk recording and like cutting it into clips?
So I'm gonna record with a whole bunch of like Cleveland, Akron comedians that I like this week, and then I'm gonna record with all my Cincinnati comedians not next week, but like
next 2 weeks, yeah.
In the future.
Yeah. So that's one thing that's hard about this show. I can't bulk record really. Or I can, but like if I'm bulk recording, it just means I'm getting 3 episodes that week instead of one person to come on that week, you know? Mm-hmm. But with I'm starting new shows this year, and I'm gonna be able to bulk record those. Bulk recording saves so much time. When I'm able to get 3 people in 1 week, and I'm able to sit down and edit those, because I like to edit like right after I do it, just because I'm still excited about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Of course.
So if I get those done for 3 weeks, it just feels so nice, because I know that for the next 3 weeks, I have 3 solid podcasts, so I can really focus on finding great. I don't know if it's guest or co-host, because this is like it's not a interview. It's a conversation. Yeah. So I think like guest co-host, to find a good guest to come on, like a lot less pressure on me to find any guest than find a good guest.
I'm actually curious how you like find people. Like
The process is a lot of social media. I am on Instagram and Twitter literally like most of my day. So say I talk to you, right? And after this episode, you're like, hey, I have a couple friends that like might be good candidates. I'll go follow them on Instagram, and I'll reach out in my own time to them, or like, you know, I'll just meet people. Like I just live regular life, meet people. Like one of the guys that I'm having on, one of the next musical artists I'm having on.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of rappers and stuff.
That's the most thing that we have in Akron. They're the people who are most excited to get their face out there.
Yeah. I'm
trying to get a real broad spectrum, but people also don't know the difference between like a hip hop artist and a rapper. Cuz to me there's a difference, or like a pop artist and a rapper. No?
I don't know.
I just like some
You would have to explain it to me. I'm also an idiot. So
okay, so like I think there's different genres within rap itself. So I try and bring on all different types of rappers. And, you know, to everyone out there, it looks like rapper. But if you actually go listen to their music, one person sings half their songs. One person's actually rapping their whole song.
All right.
And, you know, one person is like Travis Scott, and they have a lot of auto-tune, and they're like that type of sound. And they're like more of like club music. Like
I've actually been getting in. Used to not listen to much rap, but been heavy into rap lately.
Who do you listen to?
Do you know like South Park Mexican?
No.
Or like who are some new people? I like Suicide Boys.
Suicide Boys. Are they rappers or are they rock? I don't know. I like Suicide Boys. I actually don't listen to very much rap as I used to. I grew up at high school. I listened to only rap because rap was my workout music, and that's the only thing I ever did was work out, because like I didn't do anything besides football.
I listened to a lot of rap in high school, but not rap that I enjoyed. I don't.
You know about Migos? Migos was crazy when I was 15.
See, I'm gonna talk about rappers, and I'm gonna talk trash, but they're probably
right.
gonna be one. I hated Blueface.
Blueface was not. Blueface was. He's
I hated YoungBoy.
I'm also not a YoungBoy fan, but I don't think there's a few songs that I do like, but I'm not a big fan. He's not one of my artists, I'd say.
These are the people that were played in the locker room.
Oh, really?
Constantly. YoungBoy mostly.
So, same thing, we really liked Kodak, and like,
Kodak,
I don't understand anything he says, but it makes me want to work out.
My freshman and sophomore year, a lot of Kodak.
Yeah,
my junior and senior, just only YoungBoy. And I was just, this isn't good. And then I was into, do you listen to Brockhampton?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I liked that a lot when I was in high school. Like, I liked Brockhampton, and, you know.
I want to get a country star, or a country person on here.
Country person?
Because I want to see what they're like. I've never talked to someone who sings country music in my life, so that's why that's the reason that I like to talk to new people. It's like I've never talked to someone who sings country music. What do they think like?
My cousin's a country singer / southern rock star.
Really?
Lives out in Nashville.
Yeah. I'll drive to Nashville. I swear. I'm gonna drive to Philly to get an interview with someone here soon.
Yeah. I was shocked. It's actually my grandma's cousin.
Your grandma's cousin.
But he posted a thing when Eddie Van Halen died, a picture of them together playing, and I was like, wait, what?
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, his success isn't from his music. He produces country and rock.
He's still living that life.
Yeah.
It's super cool to just see people doing something that they like to do. They're fun to talk to. The people who do something they like to do are so much more fun to talk to than people who do something they don't like to do.
Yeah, all my family out in Nashville, they're all artists and stuff. So that's
Nashville's a city I really want to visit because I turned 21 in April. So I'm gonna be trying to go do some fun stuff once I'm finally the age to do some fun stuff.
Wait, when's your birthday in April?
The 3rd.
Oh, my birthday's in April. Mine's 25th.
That is my brother's birthday who's sitting right there. You guys have the same birthday.
That's insane.
April 25th.
Wow.
Dang, you want to go to Canada on the 26th?
I'm going to be in Kentucky going to drill for the National Guard.
Dang.
For a week.
On your birthday week?
The day after my birthday. I looked at it. I was like, wow, that's an entire week.
He's going to be 19, so I'm trying to get a.
Go to Canada. Yeah, Canada.
You can go to casinos. You can go to bars. You can go to dispensaries. You can go to.
You got to make sure only in certain provinces though, because back in
the one that's closest to us though it is, I think.
No, because it used to be back in the day. My mom would talk about she would go to Windsor, which is right across from Detroit or whatever is Michigan.
I was thinking of driving all the way to Toronto. It's only 6 hours.
Yeah, that's the Toronto and Montreal.
Toronto has all the casinos, right?
Yeah, so you have to go that direction, but it's only 4 hours to get to Canada somehow. If you just wrap around.
That's crazy.
But yeah, that'll be a sick trip actually.
We don't have anything planned yet. It's just we've been talking about it. It's in that phase.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go to Canada though. I've never checked it out. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, this is the year me and all my friends, or next year is the year that we all turn 21. So
it'll be a fun year.
Yeah, I just, like I said, my best friend's dad owns a bar, so we're all gonna have our 21st there.
I've been, so I'm the last friend of my friends to turn 21, because I'm young.
Yeah, because you got an April birthday.
Yeah, I'm young from my grade. So, all my other friends' 21st birthdays, I'm, sneaking in.
Yeah, my buddy's having his 21st in,
next week?
In November, and I'm just I'm still gonna be 19.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. That's always. I actually this January I'm doing a dry January. No smoking,
I saw that
on
on
all
your
that stuff.
socials.
Yeah, I just was maybe it'll help me focus a little bit, help me really focus at the beginning of the year, and I'll judge it at the end.
Yeah, I'm in a bar every day.
Yeah. I actually the main reason I did it is to quit vaping.
Really?
Yeah, I started with quitting vaping, and I was like, you know what? Let's just cut it all out. For 1 month and vaping forever.
I've never been too keen on vaping. I did smoke cigarettes for a while. Still occasionally do, but vaping doesn't do the same thing.
It doesn't do it for you? Yeah, I keep buying those disposables. I won't do it for a little while. I'll buy a disposable and I'll be like, why am I spending $15 on a freaking little plastic stick that I'm just going...
That's how I feel on
dumbest thing
other
ever.
Things I spend my money on.
Yeah, there's a lot of dumb stuff. But, shoot. So, we're actually getting a little towards, the end of our time here. But I want to ask you a couple more things before we do get out of here. Is, what is, the... I don't really know if this question works, but, what's, when you leave the stage, what do you want people to, remember you that's a little bit your key factor, there's something that's special about you, your key characteristic?
Well, I'm super awkward and deadpan when I do comedy, and that's because everybody goes up there and just talks about one time I smoked weed and I got too high, and that's everybody's story. It's yeah, cool.
So did everyone else in the room.
So did the last comic that was just on stage.
So did that guy in the front row.
Yeah. And it's everybody does those kind of things. It was easier back in the day when I would go up on a list of 30 comics and I was doing 5 minutes. And so when I go up, I'm not doing. I'm very like, I'm not a charismatic person, like I was saying, like I'm not like that. So usually people are gonna feel uncomfortable when I go on stage. And so I just play off that, and it helped me a lot back then. I've toned that down quite a bit because now I'm doing 15-minute sets, and after a while people might get bored of that. So now I try to have flow and all that stuff. But I'm kind of building on that as I go.
Yeah, every time you get up there, you get a little bit better, I bet.
But that's true. And what I want the crowd to remember me by, my goal is to make them laugh, but really I'm not trying to impress the audience. I'm trying to impress the owner or the booker.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they're the people that are gonna put me on future shows, not the audience. And so as long as I get the audience laughing, they're not gonna follow me on social media, because.
I mean, they might. I'm a big social media marketer guy. I think if you put clips of your jokes on TikTok, people would love it.
Yeah, and that's why I want to get a lot into doing sketches and the podcast that I'm doing. Yeah. Because I want content to put out, but my stand-up, it's so hard to write new joke. I couldn't put out jokes on social media fast enough.
But see, here's what I'm doing right now. I think this might be, maybe it'll bring value to you, maybe it won't. But I'm gonna get this to you. I waited 15 episodes of recording to start doing social media clips. Mm-hmm. But once I have 15 episodes, my episodes are very long, obviously. Yeah. But when I'm doing a 30-second clip, and I'm only posting a 30-second clip 4 days a week, if you save up footage of your sets for however many sets, I think you could get a decent amount of, at least a decent, you don't have to have everything, doesn't have to be a joke, but I think you could get some good clips out there, and I think there's no point in not putting it out.
Yeah, the thing is, I got maybe 15 minutes of jokes.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
At a time, yeah, that makes sense.
And that's how most comedians are. In 2 years, they don't, because you have. I've written hours of material, but
only so many hit.
I'm only going to perform 15 minutes of that at the funny stop because I only feel comfortable with 15 minutes of those jokes, knowing that they're going to hit every time.
Yeah.
A lot of jokes that I tell, sometimes they'll get laughs and sometimes they won't. So I'm like, that's not going to be in my polished set that if I were to get on late night that I would do,
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But I do want to focus on putting content out. I just think with doing live performance,
that's not.
I hear a lot of people, put their Instagram or Twitter, they'll say, "You guys can follow me at blank blank comedy," and I'm just like, nobody's pulling out their phone right now.
Yeah.
The best way to do it is to put out a sketch that does really well, and then people are like, "Oh, he's a comedian too."
That's really smart. Actually, that's really smart.
Do you know Gus Johnson? He's big on Twitter. He makes all these 30-second sketches and stuff.
I don't, but now I'm gonna look him up.
Those people that just make really weird sketches on YouTube and they'll put them out and they'll go viral. They'll have all these followers, and then they've only been doing stand up for a few years, and so but then they'll go on tour and it's
they have all
they didn't go on tour because of their stand up. They went on tour because of their sketches. And now they have the social media following because of that.
So you need a camera guy friend.
With people like Tom Segura, they're getting their Netflix special and then they're getting a huge fall. They're having something go viral on YouTube, a clip, and then they're getting.
So it's that one big moment.
Bert Kreischer's is The Machine.
Yeah, but he got put on Rolling Stone magazine as the partier of the year at college. That kind of helps your.
He had a show beforehand, but nobody knew him as a stand-up he was on the Travel Channel, and then he had The Machine go viral. And so then he quit the Travel Channel, and then it was I'm only a stand-up now.
I didn't know that. I didn't know about the Travel Channel. I just know that he got put on Rolling Stone as the partier of the year.
Yeah, that's
come on. That dude's a comedian. That dude's obviously a comedian.
That's his shtick, man.
Dude,
he go before COVID, he would go out and party with everybody that came to his show.
And he's got those double Tito's and sodas every time he gets on the plane.
Like I couldn't imagine. That'd be exhausting.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's what the cabin's all about too. The cabin is the opening to the cabin is like, it's like this 1 minute clip about what a week in his life is like and how much drinking and partying
I need to watch this because
yeah, the intro tells him about that, and the cabin's like his like this is my like release, and then like he goes and gets a massage with, or like goes and does some spiritual stones with Joey Diaz.
those sound like all things that I would want to do.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the first episode is Bert Kreischer. I think it's Joey Diaz. Joey Diaz is like the older.
Joey Coco Diaz. That's
Yeah,
the guy.
exactly. His nose is full of random crap. That's what he always makes jokes about. Yeah. So it's Joey, Bert, and Tom all on the first episode. So it's a great opening, and then like
that's cool.
The rest of it's pretty good.
But yeah, that's with coming off the stage. Like, yeah, it's mostly like I don't think about what everybody's gonna think of me, just because I'm like, even if I crush, even if I have the most killer set in 3 days, they're not gonna remember who I am.
Yeah, but if they did remember like something, you just want it to be like, you kind of said it earlier, but like if you were impressing someone, you want to impress the bookkeepers, you want to impress the people who are gonna bring you back.
You want to impress like people, you want to impress the other comedians that can get you on shows, you want to impress, like, you have to show the audience is just a tool to show them that you're good.
Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting though, because like that makes a lot of sense to me when you put it like that, because like just depending on how hard you laugh, how many people come in to see you, the other people are like, oh, maybe I should work with this guy.
I'll give a good example is like in the amateur finals, I saw like 3 different comedians go up. They had really good sets, but they like one kid did a whole entire John Mulaney set. Another kid like did like old like 1950s jokes, and it's like, yeah, the crowd's loving it because they don't know shit, but all the comedians are like, oh, this guy's a hack.
Oh, so like,
so like you could have a great set, but like if you're doing hacky material, nobody's.
And you're just copying someone.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
So that like audiences can think you're great, but if you're a hack, no.
Yeah, no.
Like
you're
try to go to a New York club doing that. Like,
no, I don't think you could, or any of the big. Even just, I bet you couldn't even do that in Cleveland or Cincinnati.
Yeah, no. Like in a club where the people going to the show are comedy nerds, they're gonna. Yeah.
Yeah. I've learned so much about comedy today. Like I think I came in today as a stand-up comedy special, like Netflix special fan, and I'm going out like I know a little bit about the inside.
Oh yeah, the inside in Akron and Cincinnati is way different than what those guys are experiencing.
Yeah, I know a little bit about the inside from the Comedy Store just because I watch Rogan almost
once or twice a week. They talk about it religiously. Like that's.
I know, but I think that's LA. That's different. I'd rather know about what's going on around me.
Yeah. So like pre-COVID, the scenes in Ohio, like in Cincinnati especially,
we're doing well.
Like on Mondays and Thursdays, I would go do 3 different shows in a night.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I ran my own show on Wednesdays, and I had my club on Tuesday. So I was like,
you were just
every night of the week. I'm.
Man, dude, I can't imagine. That'd be so cool. Like that sounds super cool to me. That just sounds fun.
It's a grind, but then like you think like
that's what makes it so fun, I think.
Yeah, I really, I mean, I wouldn't do it, of course, if I didn't enjoy it. It's a little depressing when you're just like, I'm driving 2 hours every day.
Yeah, but also like it's depressing, but dream positivity.
Yeah.
2 years from now, when you tell that story, it's gonna be like, this is what separates me from you. I did this when I was 19. Well, you might have came and seen a show, but you were also like, just when I was going to the club to perform and work on getting better at something I love to do, you were going to the club to spend $100.
Very true. Like, well, I'm glad that I'm in this time, and I'm glad that I'm doing comedy now. I guess not with COVID, but
this year was kind of.
But I'm saying, I guess with past 3 years, just like being able to listen to like the Joe Rogan podcast where they just all talk about starting out and stuff. I feel like that like just helps out so much.
Yeah, because like it's almost like they kind of like give you that like it's okay to bomb.
Yeah,
it's okay to have a bad set.
Because like when I was saying I was going and doing these 3 shows, I'm going and doing these 3 shows, but there are 2 people in the audience at one, 3 people in the audience at the like.
Yeah, but still,
It's all comics, all people that have heard my jokes before, so I have to go. It motivates you to write new stuff.
Yeah.
It motivates you to get wild, and that's why in Cincinnati, where there's so many more comedians, you see a lot crazier stuff.
I might have to, because I went to visit Cincinnati for a couple months back. I'll probably go down every semester, at least once a semester,
Yeah.
just to go see my friends that are still going there. So
Yeah.
that might be like something I'll try and get them to do, because I love comedy.
Yeah,
What's the best place?
the club there has like $2 college night, so on Thursdays tickets are only $2,
Okay.
and
So that's exactly when I'll go.
yeah, they book. So like Funny Stop, books like a certain level of headliner.
Mhm.
Hilarities books like your Tom, like your Dave Attell was just
Okay.
that, like your biggest comedians
Yeah.
go to Hilarities,
Yeah.
like Joe Rogan. And
Yeah,
all that.
I think there was a special shot at Hilarities, wasn't there?
Probably like there's I
Or
know,
maybe it wasn't Hilarities. I know it was in Cleveland.
there's a million albums recorded. Burt Kreischer recorded his last special in Cleveland.
Yeah, he did. That was it. That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking about, probably.
Yeah. But like a lot of people have recorded albums there. That used to be the big thing back in the day, was to record albums.
What, like a comedy album or just like a musical
Yeah.
album?
Comedy album.
What?
That's what people used to like most. I have a record collection. They're all comedy albums.
Really?
That's how comedy used to be distributed. Like that's how
That's super cool.
that's how most people used to listen to comedy, and that's,
Now it's podcast, kind of.
yeah. Well, like
And,
that's
like, oh.
now it's Netflix specials. Like
Mhm.
like one of my favorite comedians just put out an album. Like he didn't put out any video with it.
Oh, and it's just him cracking jokes.
Yeah, that's like that was the industry standard until like HBO came along and started doing video of comedians.
Yeah, and then like Comedy
But
Central
yeah,
popped
now
off after
every
that,
time a comedian puts out a special, they usually put out an album with it.
I did not know that. Now that's something I'm interested in.
Yeah, that's-
especially because just got a record player.
Oh, sweet.
He got a record player, and we've been using the crap out of it.
That's cool. Yeah, that like I don't want to record a special like until I'm
Developed until you
doing it
till you're
15,
ready.
15 years. Like
Yeah.
I don't, but like I would record an album in a few years. Like,
Yeah, why not?
yeah, like
That sounds super cool. I like now that you're saying that, I'm gonna see one when I'm just at like. Do they just have them at like if I just go to Highland Square Records?
oh yeah, probably. Like there's probably a section, but yeah, like
All right, now I'm gonna have to take a peek, look at some of those. I wonder how long can go on a record? Do you know? Like
I don't know how long.
I know there's always like 10 songs on one.
I just know that there's for most a comedy album fits both
Both
one
sides?
side
Yeah,
and then
like-
you flip it halfway through.
Okay.
So an hour.
Do they? Has anyone? I bet you someone makes a joke about and this is where you're about to flip it.
Probably.
Oh, that. All right. So we're gonna wrap up here. I got one more question for you.
All right.
What's your dream?
My dream is to be a comedian and not be anything else. Like
That's great. That's a great way to put it too.
I don't want to like work on a show or stuff like that. I just want to like do stand-up comedy.
You're just a pure stand-up comedian.
Yeah,
That's pretty
just-
cool.
Like, and I would like to be able to pay bills doing just that.
Yeah.
So, however long that takes, probably a long time. But
yeah, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it takes. I feel like if I were to be doing purely content creation, it'd take me 5-10 years. But hey, it's worth it.
The
to me.
competition I was just in, like everybody else in it had been doing it for like 7 to 11 years. Like one guy had been
And you
doing it
just
for
won?
11 years. Yeah.
Wow.
But like I said, a lot of comedians are like don't understand how the world works.
Yeah.
And so they've been doing it for like
Long
11
time.
years, but
But doing
they
the same
don't-
thing.
yeah,
Hmm.
they don't understand how to get better.
Yeah. That makes sense, though. That makes sense. All right.
But, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for
Thanks
coming
for
on.
having me.
Yeah.
This is actually the best podcast I've done.
that feels great to hear. Thank you so much. Make sure everyone out here that's checking this out,
Yeah.
if you are interested in some stand-up comedy, on January 29th and 30th, hit the Funny Stop comedy shop up in the Falls and come check them out. I'll be there. I don't know, maybe I'll bring my camera and do a film thing. I don't know
Cool,
if I'm
yeah.
allowed. Yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed. I'll film for you.
Yeah.
I'll come
for sure. It's
check it out, hang out, and thanks for watching, guys. Just remember, keep dreaming, stay positive, and just do something every day towards your goals.